Abbeville as well as New Iberia. And as you take a look outside this morning, things are quiet and we'll see some sunshine to start off the day, but that doesn't last. We are expecting some showers and storms to move back into the picture. You can see radar quiet, but as we head towards the afternoon, we expect storms start to forming to the north of I-10 early afternoon hours and push to the south as the cold front moves through. In fact, taking a look at that rain forecast throughout the day, you can see really widespread rain here as you go into the afternoon. That continues into the evening, even the overnight hours and into the weekend. So we'll talk about what you can expect there and give you the latest on the tropics coming up later on the show, so stay tuned.
All righty, sounds good, Corey. Hopefully we can get some of that rain away for Sunday. But we'll check back with you for more updates. Well, a Kenner native is hoping for a miracle after revealing that his wife is still missing a week following the collapse of the Florida condominium tower. Michael Stratton says he was on the phone with his wife, 40-year-old Cassandra Cassie Billio Stratton, while the towers collapsed. And now hope is diminishing with each day. Here's what Cassandra's sister had to say.
It's to my understanding that Cassie called her husband at 1:30 a.m. Miami time and told him that the pool was collapsing, that the ground was shaking and cracking. And it's my understanding that she, let out a very loud scream and the phone went dead.
Cassandra Stratton is still reported as missing following the fall of the 12-story building. Right now, 18 people have been confirmed dead. Well, work resumed in Surfside, Florida on part of the rubble from the collapsed condo deemed safe. The wreckage holds clues for countless families. 145 people are still unaccounted for today. Then Thursday, President Biden met with some of those families. Nadia Romero is in Surfside with more.
Those who survived the collapse, as well as those who are missing loved ones.
President Joe Biden offering condolences to families desperate for any information about their loved ones.
It's bad enough to lose somebody, but the hard part, the really hard part, is to not know whether they're surviving or not.
We're not giving up hope.
With each passing day, as more debris is removed, hope fades.
The families are very realistic. They know that the chances are, as each day goes by, diminish slightly. But at a minimum, they want to recover the bodies.
Potentially hindering efforts, Tropical Storm Elsa, which could impact Surfside as soon as this weekend.
There's a risk of heavy rainfall and strong winds from Elsa on Sunday night into Monday morning.
A more immediate concern, the stability of the portion of the building that still stands. For much of the day Thursday, work had to be halted.
Given our ongoing safety concerns about the integrity of the building, we're continuing to restrict access to the collapse zone.
As crews work to find any signs of life, engineers focus on the condos that haven't crumbled.
And we're proceeding with planning for the likely demolition of the building while the search and rescue continues.
What we do not want to happen is for it to collapse onto the pile and then we just restart from scratch. That would be the worst.
Moving on, the U.S. Marshals reporting the rescue and recovery of 19 children during an operation called This Is the Way Home. The operation ran from March 1st to June 30th and focused on missing and endangered runaways in the New Orleans metro area. An additional 20 children were located or turned themselves in, according to the U.S. Marshals. During the recoveries, 9 adults were arrested in connection with this operation. Well, if you'd like to get tested or vaccinated against the coronavirus, head to any health unit location in your area. Each location is listed there for you on the screen. Note, all services are available during regular business hours. Vaccines are administered from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and testing is from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. 2 studies have found the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine provides at least 8 months of immunity and protects against the Delta variant. The company said in a statement last night. Separately, researchers studied blood taken from 8 vaccinated volunteers and tested it against an engineered version of the Delta variant and other variants of the virus. They found the single-dose J&J COVID-19 vaccine generated neutralizing antibodies against the range of variants. Well, Boy Scouts of America reached an $850 million settlement with tens of thousands who say they were sexually abused. The settlement is the largest in a child sexual abuse case in United States history. More than 84,000 people are part of the lawsuit against the 110-year-old organization, which has been plagued with claims of abuse from volunteers and leaders since the 1960s. an attorney for more than 16,000 people, says the majority of his clients are in their 60s and 70s and that the abuse happened while they were in their teens. The settlement was detailed in court documents filed this week. Well, a highly anticipated jobs report for the month of June is due out this morning, with President Biden hoping for big numbers to help rally public support for his massive infrastructure plans. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
President Biden looking for some early fireworks from this morning's June jobs report. The latest weekly numbers show a sharp decline in first-time unemployment claims, down to 364,000, a new pandemic-era low. The White House hoping the monthly report will prove the president's economic strategy is working and bolster his argument for more government spending through a massive infrastructure bill.
This is a generational investment to modernize our infrastructure, creating millions of good-paying jobs.
But Republicans point to months of uneven job growth, often falling below expectations. They argue pandemic-related assistance programs are discouraging millions of Americans from returning to work.
As long as half the country's paying workers more to stay home than to go back to work, you're still going to see us struggling there. So workers, wages, jobs, I'd say the president's report card is failing.
President Biden has offered this blunt critique.
Guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more.
Today's report offering a critical mile marker to assess progress on the road to recovery.
Many economists believe job growth will really pick up in the fall when more parents return to work as schools reopen. Plus, those enhanced federal unemployment benefits are set to expire in September. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, moving on, I'm from Covington, so I have a 985 number, and I'm always scared to answer any calls that come from that. I imagine many of you were scared to answer 337 numbers. Well, if you're tired of spam phone calls from numbers that look local, rejoice. The Federal Communications Commission has implemented a new anti-spoofing system called Stir Shaken to honor spy James Bond. It helps verify phone numbers to ensure what shows up on your caller ID is actually the number that is calling you. The three major U.S. carriers, T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T, say they've adopted the new protocol. The FCC hopes this will reduce the number of robocalls, but it's not a complete fix, and officials warn consumers should remain vigilant against scammers.
Starting off the day with partly cloudy skies, but ending it possibly with some rain. We'll talk about what you can expect there, the latest on Tropical Storm Elsa coming up.
And it's time to check in with Al Abear. He's right outside with the owner of JB's Cruisin' Cuisine. Checking in with them to see the layout this morning. Hey, is this pronounced Zoo House Bakery? Okay, thank you. And let me make sure there's nothing else. Doing teases in between shows. Okay. Oh, we love that music here at News 15 today because it means it's Friday. And with that comes the Friday feed. Today we have JB Sebel, owner of JB's Cruising Cuisine, in our parking lot with Al Aber. You might even hear the the generator going on back there. Let's see what they're cooking this morning. Al, how's it going?
Hey, Carter, I got to tell you, JB, he's got it going here. This is one of the biggest food trucks I've ever been in. I mean, this thing is huge. And so we're going to be barbecuing with JB. And JB, of course, the first step is to season the meat.
Yes, sir.
And I'm looking at everything here. Look at these beautiful pork steaks. I mean, can you get a tight shot of that, John? So tell me about seasoning the meat.
We normally use red pepper, salt. Sometimes we use all seasoning. And we just normally just use a lot of red pepper.
and people love the heat. And so you season this the night before. Tell us about that, because I think that's very critical.
Yeah, so we season our meat the night before so the seasoning can set in the meat. And so it can have that kick that you want. We all about well seasoning, and that's what we strive on. So that's our little tip.
Now, one of the things I like is JB makes his hamburger patties from scratch.
Yes, sir.
Now, my problem with my hamburgers, I got a lot of problems when it comes to cooking, JB. I never get the seasoning right. What is the key to seasoning this meat perfectly so customers like it?
Well, like I said, we season it the night before, let the season set in the meat. And, yeah, we just use a lot of red pepper. Have to use a lot of red pepper, all seasons. And, yeah, that's mainly it. That's it.
Well, JB, how do you measure it? How do you know how much to put?
Well, that comes with experience sometimes.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
2-3 years of doing this, man. Yeah, just we don't measure. We just kind of go from the flick of the wrist, and yeah, that's mainly it.
Well, see, I measure everything. I've tried to figure out, is it 1 tablespoon of seasoning per pound of meat, and then that doesn't always work out. So do you gauge this by the smell or the look? I mean, what is your gauge for this?
Yeah, the look, for sure, the look. The look is mostly what you want, but you don't want to over season, because
Right.
if you over season, then your food tastes out of just crazy.
I know. It's almost unedible. Hey, we're going to go back to you, Carter, and Corey in the studio. More News 15 today while we cook with JB's Cruising Cuisines right here in the parking lot.
All right, can't wait to see what you got coming up at our next hour, Al. Well, unfortunately, we have heard some sad news for local business in the area. Zoo House Bakery and Coffee announcing on Facebook they're closing their doors tomorrow. The coffee joint saying, quote, "We would like to thank our customers for the continuous support over the years." In their post, they allude to a new location in the near future, though. Turning to some weekend events here in Acadiana, Bayou and the Tesh invites you to be a part of the Theology on the Bayou, specifically the hour-long Theology on Tap style series today. It starts at 6 p.m. A variety of speakers will discuss topics like image of God, faith and science, and so much more. This discussion is the first of 3 dates of the series, with the next to follow on July 16th and July 30th. Visit Theology on the Bayou Facebook page for more information. And Vincent Family Barbecue officially opens this weekend in St. Mary Parish. The takeout-only eatery opens tomorrow at 11 a.m. and goes until 7. Choose your pickup style, whether that's walk-in or curbside. You don't want to miss your exclusive first taste of this one-of-a-kind barbecue this 4th of July weekend. Visit VincentFamilyBarbecue.com to pre-order or call 337-205-4850. A Louisiana family temporarily feels what it's like to be one of the richest in the world. That full story coming up in Trending News. But first, we have more rain in the forecast. Storm Track 15 meteorologist Corey Smith is tracking when that will arrive next. It's 5:44 on your Friday morning.
Always tracking, always alerting. Here's your Storm Track 15 weather.
Welcome back. Unfortunately, we have some wet weather on the way, so let's get the latest from Storm Track 15 meteorologist Corey Smith to see how this will impact the long weekend. And he's also taking a look at the tropics this morning. Corey, what can you tell us? A lot to talk about this morning.
Yeah, there really is, and good morning to you as well. Taking a look at the tropics first. So let's talk about Tropical Storm Elsa as of 4 a.m. Maximum wind speeds of 60 miles per hour, and it is absolutely booking it to the west-northwest here, 28 miles per hour. That's double what we typically see these storms moving in this region. So very quickly moving in. In fact, the Windward Islands right here is about to enter the Caribbean as we go into today and into the weekend. Let's talk about the track though, and any changes that we've seen here in the overnight. You can see Elsa down here in this portion of your screen, and as we put out the track here over the next few days, you can see continue to work towards the northwest as we go into the Caribbean. This is by Sunday. Wind speeds right around 70 to 65 miles per hour. And then as we head into the beginning of next week, it starts to take a curve towards the north. There's still a lot of uncertainty with this forecast. You can see the latest track brings the storm into Florida right around Tuesday and a Wednesday. Some models a little bit further out to the west with this situation, and some out to the east as well. So expect this to really change here, I think, over the next few days. We're not really out of the woods with this storm yet. In fact, some models do have this making landfall maybe closer to Mobile or even eastern portions of Louisiana. So something we'll have to keep an eye on here. No imminent threat here with this system, but something to watch here as we go throughout the next week. Talking about today's forecast, so what we can expect, well, more rain in the forecast. Temperatures getting close to 90 degrees in the afternoon. We start to see some showers and storms firing up in the early afternoon, and then we start to see a broken line form in the northern portions of the viewing area. This is a cold front moving into the area, bringing some heavy rain here as you go throughout the afternoon. Lightning, gusty winds, maybe even some ponding on the roads as you go throughout the afternoon and evening, even some rain possible here as we go into the overnight. Taking a look at the afternoon forecast, temperatures are a little bit cooler here. That's thanks to that rain that has fallen. So temperatures will be in the middle to upper 80s after we see those storms starting to move in. Now looking at your weekend, that front really just sticking around here as we head into the weekend. Saturday looking like probably the wettest day over the next few days here. Sunday looks a little bit drier, but still keeping that chance of rain around here in the forecast, especially if you're down by the coast. And then as you go to next week, all eyes will be on the Gulf of Mexico for any tropical systems possibly moving in there. But if we're not seeing that, probably keeping the chance of showers and storms in the forecast as we go into next week as well. So take a look at the 7-day forecast. Keep the umbrella nearby. We expect those storms later this afternoon that lasts through the weekend.
All righty, well, hopefully not too long. I know a lot of folks are looking for the break and to get outside and enjoy themselves this 4th of July weekend, but we will definitely keep track here at News 15. Thanks, Corey. Well, an unexpected banking error temporarily turns a Louisiana family into one of the richest in the world, and a crazy cliff collapse is caught on camera. Jeremy Roth explains in this rendition of Take a Look at This.
At one point or another, most of us have dreamed of checking our bank accounts and finding them inexplicably flushed with mountains of money. Money, money, I just can't get enough. Well, believe it or not, it actually happened to Louisiana real estate agent Darren James, who was blown away when he realized his family's account had suddenly grown by $50 billion. James immediately informed Chase Bank, which reportedly took roughly 4 days to correct the error. That's a long time to stare longingly at that many zeros. But James said it didn't matter if it was $50 billion or just $50. The money wasn't theirs, and there was never a question of giving it back. Still, for a few fleeting days, the error had made them one of the richest families in the world. A day on the water turned explosive when a 200-foot cliff wall suddenly collapsed near a pontoon boat full of friends on Lake Superior. Buddies Jan Martin and Brad Gustafson were among the passengers that said they heard popping and cracking before capturing the colossal collapse on video. They said the ensuing 10 to 12-foot waves caused a bit of a panic, but no one was injured. They were left cracking up at a crumbly cliffhanger of an experience that definitely rocked. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, Darren's better than me. I would have cashed out and took all of my family to a remote island somewhere. Coming up on News 15 today, a bridge closure in Butte La Rose is set for today. What you need to know for your morning drive.
Storm Track 15's Tracking the Tropics, brought to you by Lafayette Roofing.
Hey, Lauren, I did that package with the VOSITE yesterday on the Louisiana Housing Authority, if you wanted to run that at the end instead. Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah, let her know. It's the VOSITE's on the 6th. What am I watching? I want to play a game. Load it up. My entire bill is redacted. I think I have that lying around somewhere. All this big TV money. That's its own category? Shiny vampires? Fast and the Furious should have its own category. It's like, they're still making those. 20 years later.
They fly a car into space. That's all.
Fun fact, I've actually never seen a single Fast and the Furious. But I hear it's just a great movie just to sit back and just mindlessly watch explosions. What you need every now and then, you know? Like, I don't need plot. Just blow stuff up. Yay! You have the VOSITE in this block? Okay. Welcome back to News 15 today. Here's what's happening this morning. Starting in St. Landry Parish, Opelousas police are searching for James Thompson, wanted on multiple warrants. Thompson facing various charges for theft and drug paraphernalia as well as drug possession. Police say Thompson was involved in 2 separate incidents, each involving theft related to catalytic converters. During the second incident, Thompson was stopped for a license plate violation where officers found multiple illegal items in his possession. Thompson fled the scene before police could take him into custody. And the search continues for 71-year-old Albert Willis Jr., who's been missing for 13 days today. Police revealing new information saying Willis suffers from dementia. He was last seen walking from his home on the morning of June 18th. Willis is described as being 5'7", weighing about 140 pounds. He was last seen wearing a red shirt, blue jeans, and tan shoes. Anyone with information is asked to call St. Martinville Police. And switching gears to traffic this morning, the pontoon bridge in Butte La Rose will close for an hour between 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. this morning. There will be no vehicular traffic allowed in order for the bridge to be raised to allow the lilies to pass.
As we head into your Friday, the chance of afternoon showers and storms around 1 p.m. Isolated in nature then, but once again a little bit later on around 5 p.m. a line moving in from the north, bringing more widespread rain. That lasts through Saturday. In fact, Saturday looks like it's a washout. The good news is, I think, for the 4th of July, scattered storms, but probably one of the drier days here in the forecast, at least in the short term. We keep the chance of rain around as we head to next week. And of course, we'll be keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Elsa as we head throughout the weekend.
Alrighty, but you know, Sunday looking a little better than it has earlier in the week, right?
Yeah, I really think so. And it's even with the night, I know a lot of people doing fireworks, I think looking a little bit better there too. So some good news out of that. Albeit we've seen rain now 12 days in a row here in Lafayette. Looks like we'll be getting close to 2 weeks at this point straight.
All righty, Corey. Well, we'll be checking back with you throughout our next hour where our coverage continues and anytime on our website, klaf.com. We've got more local headlines, updates on our crime watch, Al Abear's grilling in the back, and with everything you need to know happening this morning around Acadiana and the state. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
From KLAF NBC, this is a News 15 Today update.
Good morning, I'm Carter Simino with your News 15 Today update. Opelousas police are searching for James Thompson, wanted on multiple warrants. Thompson is facing various charges for theft as well as drug paraphernalia and drug possession. Police say Thompson was involved in 2 separate incidents, each involving theft related to catalytic converters. During the second incident, Thompson was stopped for a license plate violation where officers found multiple illegal items in his possession. Opelousas police also searching for a person wanted for illegally shooting a gun near a local business in the 600 block of South Railroad Avenue. Officers say an employee called to report a verbal disagreement with a customer on June 26th. After the argument, the customer left the store and fired several rounds from a handgun. Well, for the very latest, our coverage continues at noon and anytime online at kadn.com. Have a great day, Kadiana. This morning on News 15.